Hi viewers and good day. I'm your presenter Mr. Nyati with another video which is a continuation from the previous videos that we've been doing. The last time I did a video I did on question B3. Now we are proceeding to question B4. Question B4, here is the question, but maybe before we go there, may I suggest that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share the video, and leave a comment in the comment section. So B4 reads, salts are substances that have many methods of preparation. One of them, of course, is precipitation, where you use two soluble salts to basically come up with an insoluble salt. Of course, one of the products would be soluble, and the insoluble salt is basically called the precipitate. Another method would be titration, okay, or neutralization, where you use a salt, an acid and a base to come up with a salt and water only. However, let's proceed with the question. So salts are substances that have many methods of preparation. Question A, iron chloride can be prepared by reacting substance X and dilute hydrochloric acid. Which reactant should be in excess? So what you need to understand here is that the dilute hydrochloric acid is the guy who is going to help us determine how much of the salt we want to produce. Okay, so in this case the limiting reagent should be dilute hydrochloric acid, so that the other substance X should be in excess, so that it completely reacts with the acid in order to produce the salt. So the answer to that question, which is saying which of the reactants should be in excess, the answer is substance X should be in excess in order for it to react completely with the acid. Then question A2 says, why should the named reactant, or why should substance X be in excess? Well, for it to react completely with the what? With the acid, and also so that the acid is completely used up. So you can choose between the two, to completely react with the acid, or so that the acid is completely used up in the production of that sort of formation or preparation of that sort. We move on to the next question, which is question BB. Okay, question B section. Question B4B Roman numero 1. Suggest. You remember this one has come. Suggest doesn't mean that you are fixated at one answer. No, you are not restricted to one answer. No, there is a variety. Okay, there are a number of them that may be correct, but you just choose one. You suggest one which should match with what the product is going to be. So in this case, in my suggestion, I have the following. I have iron 2 oxide could react with dilute hydrochloric acid to produce the salt, which is iron oxide. Because here the question says iron chloride can be prepared by reacting substance X and dilute hydrochloric acid. So iron chloride is the product. So now suggest one of the reactants. One reactant has already been given in the question, which is dilute hydrochloric acid. So what is the other reactant? So you can use iron 2 oxide to react with the acid in order to produce salt and water. Remember, this is a base. Okay, this is a base. You react it with an acid, gives you salt and water. Or you can use iron 2 carbonate to react with dilute hydrochloric acid to give you three products. One is iron 2 chloride, the second one is carbon dioxide because of the carbonate, and also the third one is water. Or you can still use iron hydroxide, iron 2 hydroxide, it should be 2 here, iron 2 hydroxide, for you to produce salt and water, which is iron chloride and water. Or you can still use the metal itself, iron plus hydrochloric acid, to give you iron 2 chloride plus hydrogen gas. Remember, that is one of the characteristics of acids. So now we move on to the next question. So it's a suggestion, you can still just pick one of the list there, one of the listed. The question continues in B2. Write a balanced chemical equation for the reaction between the substance X and the dilute hydrochloric acid. So, of all these that we have mentioned here, we need to come up with a balanced chemical. We need to come up with a balanced chemical equation. So we used the iron oxide, so plus dilute hydrochloric acid in aqueous state to give us iron 2 chloride, okay, which is aqueous. Remember, chlorides that are solids, it's only lead chloride and silver chloride, plus water, which is a liquid. So is the equation balanced? No, we have 2 chloride here, so we'll put a 2 here so that the equation is balanced. We move on to iron 2 carbonate, which is iron carbonate. Remember, carbonate has a valence of 2 as a radical, and iron has a valence of 2, it is iron 2. So there's gonna be this, and this is a solid because all carbonates are insoluble, are solids, except for carbonates of group 1 elements and ammonium. So plus hydrochloric acid, dilute hydrochloric acid in aqueous state to give us iron 2 chloride in the aqueous state plus water plus carbon dioxide gas. Is the equation balanced? No, we need to put a 2 here. Is the equation now balanced? Yes, it is. The other one is iron hydroxide, iron 2 hydroxide. Iron 2 hydroxide, this one must be plus hydrochloric acid in the aqueous state. Iron 2 hydroxide, sometimes it is slightly soluble, so you may have aqueous or a solid to give you iron chloride, which is in aqueous state, plus water. Okay, is the equation balanced? We add the 2 here, and because of this we add the 2 here. I think the equation now is balanced. The other one is iron itself as a metal plus hydrochloric acid, which is in aqueous state, to give you iron chloride in aqueous state plus water, which is a liquid. So these are some of the suggestions that you have here. We put a solid. Okay, these are some of the suggestions that you have. Okay, so you pick that and then you pick the corresponding equation to what you suggested, and I think this is where the question ends, and I hope that was helpful. Thank you. Bye bye.